Hey guys! I've been really craving some wholesome Reddit stories, so that's what I've decided to read today. Let's just get started. My 32 male best friend asked if I would be her 30 female sperm donor for her surrogate, and I am in love with her, but she has no idea. This comes from Buggy Baby Bumper Boats. So for a bit of background, we met in college and have been best friends since then. We hooked up once years ago. It was a drunken exchange, and I honestly clocked it up till we were both drunk and in the right place. She got ovarian cancer that was stage 3 a few years back and survived, and has been in remission. However, she has had to have a complete hysterectomy. She had mentioned a year ago she was considering surrogacy. She had told me that she planned to use a donor as she had been single for a while. Thing is, I am in love with her and I have been for years, but she has no idea. I know at one point she had feelings for me, but I was seeing someone then, and out of respect for my girlfriend at the time, she never acted on it. I feel like before I give her an answer, which will be yes, I should tell her how I feel. I want to make her dream of motherhood come true, and I'm honestly touched she thinks so highly of me that she wants me to be the father. Regardless of how she feels, I will still donate, and if she doesn't still feel the same way, I will love her as my best friend. Guess I'm trying to find the best way to ask her, and came to Reddit for advice. How should I handle this? Good thing there is an update. I appreciate all the feedback, most of you were nice. There are a few idiots telling me I need to be the alpha and be more manly, but whatever. Anyway, the consensus with my real-life friends was that I needed to tell her. We do brunch on Saturdays because she does yoga Sundays, so we met up this morning. I could barely eat, and she could tell something was up. She got worried thinking I was going to say no or something worse, so by the time we took a walk, both of us were nervous wrecks. I sat her down and told her everything, how I realized I was in love with her several years back, but was too much of a chicken to come clean. I told her that I never said anything because I did not want to jeopardize our friendship. Her face turned white, then a myriad of expressions came over her face, and she started laughing till tears came down her face. I honestly was stunned. My stomach was in my throat, and I honestly thought that almost 12 years of friendship were down the toilet. Then she started crying, sobbing really, and she lightly hit my chest. She half laughed and sobbed that she was in love with me too, but she thought it would also impede the friendship we had, and she wanted nothing to screw up what we have. We hugged, and I told her there was no one on this earth I would want to have a child with but her. We talked for hours. In fact, I just got home. We've decided that we want to focus on us for now. I want us to be at that point that we can do it together. I know this isn't a rom-com, and things could end up not working out for us in the end. However, I'm pretty sure if there's such a thing as soulmates, she is mine. Thank you for giving me the courage to tell her. That's so adorable. I'm glad it's working out okay. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cry in front of my girlfriend? This comes from AITA Crybaby. I'm a 22-year-old man raised by a very traditional single dad. Among the many ideals my dad instilled into me was that crying was a sign of weakness in men. So most of the time, my dad would reprimand me if I came to him crying. It would range from small things, like spilling juice on my pants, to being bullied at school. He said, "If you're breaking down about these issues, you're never going to make it in life." I would hide my tears like an alcoholic would hide booze, and eventually, I grew up to be the strong silent type in school and in adulthood. If being emotional meant hurting myself or someone else, it seemed better to just not show them at all. So fast forward a few years, I have this girlfriend, Katie, that I'd been seeing for a few months. Most girls were turned off by me being so reserved, but Katie had this talent for seeing that I wasn't just mean or cold to people, I was hurting. She treated me like a decent human, so I did my best to be a gentleman to her while staying reserved. My dad told me it was important that a man never let his own feelings keep him from protecting and being respectful to women. About a week ago, Katie called saying her mum died in the hospital due to complications from corona, and asked me to come to the funeral. Her body was cremated to avoid attendees getting sick. Now, I never knew what having a mum was like, so as the preacher described Katie's mum during the sermon, It sounded like everything I wished I had as a kid. Someone who was gentle and nurturing, who'd understand my feelings rather than criticize them. Someone who'd let me cry on their shoulder like I'd done for Katie many times. It was overpowering. I felt the tears coming on, and Katie looked at me in surprise. By force of habit, I didn't dare let myself cry. I took a deep breath, swallowed the lump in my throat, and just gave Katie another hug. After the service, I drove Katie home. It was pretty quiet until, out of nowhere, she went off on me. She said I cared more about looking like a macho man who didn't cry than letting her know how it felt. She said things like, "I'm sorry your dad is stuck in the Stone Age," and "I've opened up to you so much, but you never do the same for me," and "Is your male ego really that fragile?" I just said, "Enough," or "Please stop," but she wouldn't. Normally, I'm not fazed by someone berating me, thank you, Dad, but after a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I just let her vent at me until I stopped at her house and said, "Cold as ice, get out." She seemed to get the hint that I was pissed and ran into her apartment like a scared child. Now, I don't know if what I did was right anymore. It's become a habit of mine to avoid showing vulnerability, but maybe Katie has a point about having a male ego. Whatever that means, am I the a-hole for refusing to cry in front of her? There is also an update. Thank you all very much for your feedback in the original post. There were a variety of perspectives on this, but the general consensus seems to be that while I'm not the a-hole, it is bad for our relationship if I keep bottling up. You're right. It's not fair to me or Katie if she's looking for someone to relate to, and I refuse to give that to her, especially not when she's grieving. Also, thank you for being sympathetic with Katie's plight. She's apologized for lashing out. She was just acting out of grief, not out of spite or a need to control me. Well, the situation has turned into one of the most profound moments of my life. We were making amends. Katie gave me a copy of her mum's funeral on video. We both watched it together, and this time, I found the courage to cry for the first time in 7.5 years. Hearing everyone describe Katie's mum had tapped into my inner child, the sad, lonely little boy longing for the warmth and affection that he didn't get from his only parent. Katie, despite her own grief, showed me nothing but kindness throughout my mental breakdown. All this time, I'd been seeing my own feelings as being invalid compared to hers. Katie just said, "My mum always made me feel safe whenever I was sad. Now I want to do the same for you." Bless her heart. Now, our relationship is stronger than ever. We're both looking after each other, but also seeking our own means of support to avoid being too dependent. I finally started on my long overdue journey towards healing from my trauma and improving my mental health. I never would have reached this milestone if it weren't for the kind people of Reddit. I started from having no other outlet to having more options towards bettering myself than ever. Thank you all very much. That is adorable. I'm so glad that you and your girlfriend are just growing together. It's amazing. My girlfriend, 27 female, did the sweetest thing for my brother, 9, and now I know she's the one. This comes from House Party Ended. My parents moved him to another school towards the end of the school year, and he had trouble making friends. He still invited his whole class to his birthday party that was on Friday, but nobody came. None of the kids. It was really heartbreaking seeing all the empty tables when he was really looking forward to it. My girlfriend of 4 years decided to call her brothers, asking them to come over. Then she took off to go pick up her nephews. They're a little older, but they were still really nice to my brother. She called up her friends with kids. It wasn't a ton of people, but it was way more than before, all thanks to her. My little brother was so happy playing in the jumper with her nephews and brothers. They were all play wrestling with him. He had such a good time. It was nice that everyone came and was being so nice to him, but I'm also just super grateful to my girlfriend because she made it happen. I was watching her the whole time, going, wow, I want to marry this woman. She's the one for me. Now I'm literally browsing online for engagement rings. And there's an update. She said yes. I proposed to her on Sunday after we decided to go on a camping trip. Y'all, she would not even let me finish my speech that I spent all week practicing for nothing. I know some of you were telling me ways to figure out her ring size without her getting suspicious, but I just wasn't built for that level of stealth, so I brought in her sister to help me. My girlfriend, my bad fiance, was crying. I was crying, she said yes, and that's all that matters to me. She made me the happiest guy. Seriously, I'm still beyond happy it all worked out. We haven't been able to stop smiling at each other every time we're in the same room, and I love it. All that's left is the wedding and the rest of our lives together. That is adorable. She seems like such an amazing woman. I'm really happy for you guys. Guy gets to feel like a kid again instead of being seen as creepy. It's from Izzy. Sorry if I didn't say that right. I live in an apartment complex that has a bunch of little kids. During the original lockdowns, I would go outside to walk around and get out. And one day, one of the kids launched a soccer ball my direction, and without thinking, I headed the ball back to them. And they said something like, "Whoa, do it again, do it again." And I was hesitant at first because I'm a bald 31-year-old with a large beard playing with a bunch of little kids. I told them, "I'm not sure if your parents would want you playing with a stranger, but you guys have fun." I didn't realize their mum was sitting inside with the window open watching them, and I hear her yell, "Please kick the ball around them if you want to. I know you live across the hall and I see you all the time." I proceed to play soccer with them for about 2 hours and had a blast. Now every Friday, without fail, a group of kids knock on my door at 6 p.m. because they know I'm off work and want me to play some kind of game with them. We played freeze tag last Friday. It was dope. I cheated and climbed the tree so they couldn't get me. Makes me feel like a kid again and is truly a highlight of my week. The mum also brings me homemade fresh tamales at least every 2 weeks and refuses to let me pay for them. Oh, that's probably amazing for the mum as well, because these kids get to see adult that's not related to them in a very positive manner. That's adorable. Okay, and that's it for the video. If you guys liked it, think about giving me a thumbs up or leaving a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye!